Right. Oh, good morning.
Morning, everyone. Little hiccup.
Oh, we never know what we're gonna get first thing in the morning.
No, you know, if you ever have a Friday that just goes seamless, there's got to be something wrong with the rest of the day. Because
At least we hit go live.
yeah, right? We're here. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Friday with Friends again. We are so excited. I am starstruck because I absolutely love this couple. We are with Mark and Glenda today.
And
Hello,
it's my
Mark.
first time meeting them, so I am super excited to hear a little bit about their journey here as entrepreneurs and who they are as people and how they just balance their work and life and fun and all of the above.
Speaking of fun, so that hockey game last night, that mascot was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Saw your pictures this morning. Oh man.
Well, it's kind of funny. We have when we go there, we usually sit in the seats that we have with some friends, and it's about 7 rows from the ice. So the mascot comes down and he's right in front of us, and he walks up the rail all the way to the top. He's going to fall one day, but he's pretty padded. So
yeah. Oh my goodness. So we have rivals. We were talking. We have rivals in our house. So you guys are like a dual Oiler household.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
Not here.
No.
We are. Grandma has the Oilers and Grandpa has the Maple Leafs. And so they started giving certain kids and started the rival Oilers things and certain kids Maple Leaf things. And so now we have like half and half in our household.
And our house is the Battle of Alberta. So my husband and I are Team Calgary, but our children are Edmonton Oilers. So it's always fun. And my brother was actually at the Oilers game last night. He got himself
cool
tickets. So he's been there pretty much every game. And he's from Valley View. So he travels back and forth and he goes and spends the night. And yeah, he got to go with my cousin last night. So it was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, fun time.
How was it being back in the arena and actually being able to go to these things again?
Well, kind of weird, you know.
It was a little weird. Like it's just for us because we've been going out and stuff like that. But this was the first time that, you're sitting in seats and there's somebody right beside you and you feel like you're doing something wrong. Honestly, I was like, this is weird, but it was still fun. It was nice to get back and see it.
Kind of wearing a mask, some people do, some people don't.
Yeah. We're very active. We used to go to every community event that we could. I took the kids everywhere to all the museum events and the city events. And we still aren't doing too much up here. The smaller communities have, but it was a lot of fun getting back into it. It was just so nice to have some semblance of normal.
Yeah. That's it exactly, right?
Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So are you guys born and raised in Alberta, or where do you guys come from?
Well, I'm born and raised, so I grew up on a farm just outside of Bruderheim, which is, kind of northeast of Edmonton. Mark?
I was born in Bristol, England, and I came here when I was nine years old or so. So more or less grew up in Canada. So yeah. And my parents live in England. They live back and forth. They've gone back and forth a few times now, and I think they might be coming back here again. So you can't get any rhyme or reason out of them why they do what they do. You just gotta let them go.
I love
it's
that.
tough when your parents live in another place. My husband's family is from Manitoba. He was born and raised in Manitoba, so it's tough when they don't live that close because it's few and far between visits. So it's nice that we do what we do because then we have the flexibility to travel or go and see them kind of exactly.
For sure.
They grew up in the Edmonton area, but when they moved to Vancouver Island and Sydney, so that's probably where they'll go back, which is still close for us.
At least
right?
it's a
45-minute or a half hour or an hour
Plane
plane
rides.
ride, right?
Yeah.
Versus 8 or 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My family's all in Alberta, so I
Yeah.
don't have where to go.
Yeah.
But we still very rarely see them. I don't know. I don't understand.
Funny how that works.
I know. The closer you are, the farther you are.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been in the business, and what brought you to it?
We started, I think it
2
was
years.
2 years ago. Yeah, just over
Okay.
2 years ago. And we, I think, came into it. I mean, we were looking for something. Weren't really sure what that was. But then as we started really kind of looking around, it became pretty apparent to us that online was kind of the way to go.
Mhm.
And so then we really kind of honed the search down to that. And we looked at a lot of stuff, and some good, some not so good, and we finally came across this, and it made sense. I mean, it was one of the few things that we saw online that was actually backed up with a real business model. And that was it's so important. I mean, we both come from kind of corporate backgrounds, so that's kind of what we were looking for, was a true business model, and something that had some real parts and systems and everything like that. So we saw it, we watched the webinar, we watched all those videos I don't know how many times, and
Well, I kind of had to
wow, yeah.
push her to watch them.
It took a little bit longer for me.
I was working in insurance when I was actually following Wade and Karen for 9 months before I came in, but I was working in insurance, so I learned to read the fine print. And so I was pretty like, I want to make sure, right? Like probably along the same lines as you both as well. You've got the business model and the community and the support and the training. And so I was very particular coming in too. I was like, I'm just going to make sure.
Yeah.
A good mindset to have, but at the same time, I think it held me back for a little longer than I wanted to, or should have. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's us as well too. I mean, there's at some point you have to jump, right? You can do all your research and check everything. I mean, there's no certainties in life, so you just got to jump.
Yeah.
There's only so much time to sit on the fence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jennifer, I kind of interrupted you.
Oh no, it's all good. When I first joined the business, it was quite funny because I was already in, and then I said to my husband, I was like, "Oh, I have a video that you need to watch." And we were past the webinar. I was already at the welcome video. And he's like, "Well, just get to the point. Like, what's the point of this?" And I was like, "Oh, so now let's talk about this part." And he's like, "Just do whatever."
That's funny.
How long have you guys been in the business again?
It'll be 4 years for me in February.
Oh, wow.
And I will be 3 years in May.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I am not going anywhere. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my biggest surprise was the family. Like our team is our family. And I know we say it over and over again, but even just like Mark and Glenda, I follow you and I feel like I know you already. And that so many other business owners and their pages. I'm like, gosh, like if I ever see you, I already know your life. Like,
yeah,
that's it. Exactly.
And this week's mastermind was just so inspiring again. And every week I love that even those at the very top of the business are here for us that aren't quite there yet. Yeah. And they're all celebrating this business and they're celebrating this community together. And they still take time to come on screen and give us advice and come away from the festivities to help support our success. So that was my biggest surprise, is that everybody is on like a level playing field and it doesn't matter where you sit.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, for us, when we came in, honestly, like the community aspect of it, never even kind of twigged with us, right? Like I never really thought of it.
Yeah.
And until we got into it, and it was really like a few months in that it sort of started really sinking into us. Like you said, that you feel like you're friends with people and you've not ever met somebody in person. And it's just such an awesome experience. You know, again, it's coming from, you know, our previous backgrounds where, I mean, it was kind of dog eat dog, right? Like everybody was competing and
Yeah.
it wasn't so much about celebrating successes for each other, right?
Yeah.
So this is just, I mean, it changes you as a person, I think, right? It makes you feel better about yourself and feel better about the world around you. And I think that's just awesome.
It's been a really unexpected benefit,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We just
And
didn't
it just,
expect it to be that connected working.
yeah.
on it, right?
And it's nice because it just trickles into everything into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It starts with our community and your mindset and the positive shift in you, and then all of a sudden the shift in your family and your friends. And yeah, it's a really beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
Especially the past couple of years that we've all been going through, and so there's so much division and separation. But right now, like where we're at, it's bringing everyone that much more closer, and we're able to have those connections and keep that going. When I try to explain it to friends and family, like in my circle, they're like, "Well, don't you feel alone?" I'm like, "No, I feel more supported right now than I have in my whole entire life." You
For
know?
sure.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people think when you work online, you're just locked in a dark room somewhere and kind of
By yourself.
by
all the
yourself.
time.
You don't have any interaction with
Yeah.
anybody. It's so not true, right?
Well, honestly, like if, you know, over the last couple of years, if we hadn't been involved in this business, it would have been so much harder.
Yes.
You know, like having this business and having the people within it. I mean, you still felt connected. I mean, we used to have, you know, little Zoom parties and have cocktails and the whole thing. It made you feel, you know, like you're, you know, things were normalish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Our team meets weekly, and then we meet after the mastermind on Wednesday just to kind of go through things, and we always have like a little social session. So, you know, it's never just business.
Yeah, even how Charlene and I met too. Like, you know, we have no connection at all in the business. We were just connected through another lady. She's like, "Oh, this Charlene lives in Grand Prairie. Maybe you guys could meet up." And that's how it happened. We met at the park one day, and our kids played together. And now her son and my son are friends, and her and I meet up. Like we started doing this series, and we meet up, you know, for coffee and have visits and.
And it speaks volumes for the community because you can reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
And you can collaborate and ask for advice. And I mean, it's amazing. I can't say enough about it.
Yeah. The only thing I find it's hard to really explain to people who aren't in the business, right?
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, because then nobody really understands it. We didn't understand it until we came in. So
I think you got to be in it to understand it.
You have to experience it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all those people sitting on the fence. You just got to get in here and everybody's friends.
Yeah, I know. And there was, I mean, who was it this week? And they said, this is really for the underdog.
Yes.
And that spoke to me because I never really felt like I fit in, whether it was retail or when I was doing photography or when I was doing insurance. I never really found my place. And I have a place now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think the business is for everybody. It doesn't matter what walk of life you've come from or, you know, your background or whatever it is, you know. I think it's there's a place for everybody here.
Yeah. And we see it because we're on this side of it, you know what I mean? But when we were still on the other side, like a lot of people, you know, you have blinders on. You don't know what you're walking into. But when you do, it's like, you know, it really is.
I think it's like society's influence, right? Like you've got people speaking to you here and people criticizing you over here. And so you can't see what's right in front of you until you step out of your way, but also push them aside, right?
I think so. And I think too, I mean, for us anyway, you get older, you get a little jaded, right? And you get a little cynical about things. So you don't, you hear people talking like we're talking today and you think, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's too
sure.
good to be true.
Yeah.
Way too good to be true.
But it really is too good and true.
Yeah.
But we're also
sorry, go ahead. There's a lot of skeptical people out there, right? And understandably so in some cases, right?
It's a scary world.
Yeah. A lot of people have been impacted in different ways,
Yeah.
So.
And we're also programmed from like a young age that this is the way we have to do things in life, And so even when I go and I talk to like my mother-in-law, she's like, well, how do you make money? You don't leave your house. I'm like, yeah, like it's amazing. You should try it. I don't have to go work 5 jobs to earn an income. I get to stay home and homeschool my son and spend every day designing my days the way I want to. Like, who doesn't want to live like that?
But that's exactly. I mean, but it's a hard change, I guess, for a lot of, especially, again, we're older. So, I mean, it's,
not that old.
Wow, we're a little bit older. That mind shift, right? I mean, we didn't grow up with a cell phone in our hands, so it's a different way of thinking. I mean, I was talking to my mom the other day and she asked me, she says, what's that Amazon thing?
Yeah, I know. I have my aunt. My aunt was talking to me and we were talking about, and she's kind of the same thing. She's like, well, I mean, like Facebook, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's okay. I mean, those of us that are willing to do it, I mean, we're changing the world one step at a time, one person at a time, and that's all that matters. So
Yeah.
I like the ability that we can shift gears, right? So we can adapt to a changing world, and the world is going online. And I mean, you're either going to get with the program or you're going to get left behind.
Or you're going to fall behind. Yeah.
It really is the way everything's going. I mean, this Christmas, I mean, I'm not going to the mall very often. I'm buying everything online. Like that's just the way things are done today.
Yeah. There's a lot of closures, lots of stores closing. Even before COVID, a lot of retailers were closing down. A lot of the smaller ones, people are losing their jobs. It's really unfortunate, but they're still online. They're closing their storefronts because they don't have that overhead cost. And
well, that's just it. It's economical for them to do so, right? And I think that, like you said, I think that was happening before COVID hit, and it just made it worse, basically. And we're going to see that going forward for sure. More and more is going to move into the online space, and they're not going to have physical stores anymore.
It's how business is done these days. It's just simply the way it is.
You look at, like, say, banking. I mean, I would say within the 5 to 10 years, there's not going to be a bank branch. I mean, everything is going to be online.
I went to the bank the other day to get a new debit card because mine was kind of worn out or whatever. So that was the first time I've been at bank for like 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's the only time I ever go to the bank or go in is when I lose my card, and I lose it often. Yeah. That's probably the only reason, So if they could mail me one, just maybe I could sign up for a program every 6 months. They make an app for that? I don't know.
You could always invent one.
Yeah, yeah. But it's true, so, and it's all about convenience nowadays for a lot of things. I know for us, we have 6 kids, and so convenience for me that's key.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So
another really cool thing too is, and Charlene and I are experiencing this a little bit more because we have younger kids, but what they're learning from us, through the entrepreneurial skills and having, switching our mindset and being open to things is really setting them up for so much goodness in their life, because they see things, not in such like tunnel vision, right? They see it all over the place. And so the one day I had Charlene's son coming home with us, and I had the two little boys in the back seat, and they were having the best conversation about building a business and then investing into another business. And then it was just, I was like, these kids are 9 and 10 years old, and
That's
they
awesome.
just hear us talking, and I was like, these guys are going to go far in their life.
That's great.
That's awesome. They pick up stuff, right?
Yes.
They pick up what you do and what you talk about, right?
And how great of an example is that you can show that there are so many different possibilities. Like, we grew up and it was pretty much just a straight road, right? There, you didn't fork off too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's great.
Colby the other day, which is he's the 9-year-old in that story. We were talking about the business, and I show the kids. So my kids range from 1, and the oldest is about to turn 19. Yeah. And so my almost 19-year-old is actually like trying to be very much a part of the business. My 16-year-old is like, my wife is going to do this, and we're going to have this in my family. And so we go over, we get our commissions, and we go over the commission structure. We go over the business model, and I show the kids, and they're very involved. And that 9-year-old the other day, I was like, yeah, one day, right now we're in the active income, because I was doing a presentation for our team. So I was like, we're in the active income part of our business, where we're building it, and we're growing our team, and we're growing, and I said, but one day we could like sit down and do nothing. And just like things like just checks get in the mail. Like we just get checks in the mail. And he was like, yeah, but we're not going to do that, are we? I was like, no. I'm like, the 9-year-old, I was like, no, of course we're not. We're not just going to sit here. I love being a part of the team and volunteering in the community and but just to have that thought that you could eventually get there and have that choice. And like the 9-year-old gets it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really, in the beginning, and that's what I told my team. It's like, right now you're in the active income. So it's not a job, but it's like a job in the sense that you still have to build it. You still have to show up every day, but at some point you can choose not to, or you can still be very much involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's like Dave and Roxanne, I think it was, when they were saying the seasons. There's seasons in your life. There's seasons in your business. I was like, oh, that's yes.
Yep, that's it exactly right there.
Yeah. I never ever thought of, and now every time I think of something in our life, I'm like, oh, that was a season, It wasn't a challenge. It was a season. I'm going to change everything to seasons. You know what, kids? Your midterms, they're a season.
Yeah.
And it will pass. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Going from the corporate world to the online space, what's something that you guys learned about yourself that you never knew that you guys were capable of or would see in yourself, especially as a couple? Because, working with my husband, he was a trucker for 20 plus years, so he was never home or rarely home. But then coming and working together, and he's been home now almost 2 years at full time. So it's been a big shift, and we've learned so much about each other, let alone ourselves. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about your experience.
Well, I mean, it was a season.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm an individual, so my season's very long.
Yes. I mean, it was, it's been fantastic. And really, we had our little learnings and things that we had to figure out. But because we came, I mean, we went from, we'd see each other at, 7 a.m. and then not till 7 p.m. And then, it was all the stuff that you had to get done in the evening. You said goodnight and then rinse and repeat. So all of a sudden you're sitting there looking at each other all day long and figuring out what each of us have to do and what our jobs are. So I think that's what, we really had to do in the beginning was figure out, I'm going to do this, you're going to do that. And, we'll talk to each other about what each of us are doing, but really kind of stay in our lanes a little bit because, otherwise it would get a little too complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great, honestly, and spending time with each other and being able to plan out a different course. I mean, versus kind of working your own job and kind of being at the whim of someone else. It's been great, but it's been challenging too. Like, it's just relationship stuff, right? This business is about relationships, and it's no different when you're working together. It's about, finding a common ground and kind of ways to move forward and not getting in each other's way and respect each other's kind of talents and differences, right? And so it's been great. It's been awesome.
Yeah, you both bring something different to the table, but to be able to work together, it really flourishes into something pretty amazing.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, I think too, it was, it's just sort of finding that rhythm too that works for you and works for the other person, and you get into that, and I mean, once you're there, then it's pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, it's just the first few months that you kind of got to really.
It was a big adjustment.
He's in the throes now, right? You guys have your coffee and go your ways and do your thing, and
yeah. Well, we live in a condo too, and it's it's not huge or whatever. It doesn't have a lot of different rooms. It's open concept. Everywhere we go, we look at each other. So so we have to go do our own thing and not look at each other every now and then.
Oh my goodness. Aww.
So that's where we see you guys going for your walks, separate walks, and doing your go lives.
Yeah, there's a lot more walks that you don't see where
go somewhere.
Except now it's too icy to walk, so
well, I still think I could do it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I was wondering, for people out there who are kind of lost with who they are or where they are in life, I was wondering if you had any advice to share.
Oh.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, everybody has, everybody's got to find their purpose, right? Their why, and everybody's got to understand kind of what they're trying to achieve in their life and how all the parts of their family and life work together. And I think once you do that, you get more excited about moving forward and trying new things. And, when you have goals and you have a way of, moving forward, I think it makes everything else easier.
Yeah. And I think too, people need to be kinder to themselves.
Yeah.
I think that we are so often just our worst critics, and we need to cut ourselves some breaks and stop, kind of, maybe if it's external noise, somebody, is always telling you stuff and it's bringing you down, you got to learn to walk away from that a bit. And it took me a lot of years to get to that point where I wasn't so influenced by, whether it was friends or family or somebody like that, where I got to the point say, I'm this old and I'm a smart person. I'm a good person. I can make up my own mind, make my own decisions. You don't have to agree with them.
Yeah.
But you got to respect that I can do that.
Yeah.
So I think people have to kind of
be more comfortable in their own skin,
and own it. We're all good. You're good people. Everybody's good people, and understand your strengths and also your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And work to them.
I mean, me personally, I've never really been a person that's been influenced by too many people, like negatively. I kind of always kind of push my own way and do my own thing. And I don't, but there's a lot of people who do have those influences that maybe don't direct them in the right way. So, just be comfortable in your own skin, be you.
Yeah.
And you know what the good thing is about this business has taught us to be, nobody knows you but you.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
do it wrong.
You can't do it wrong, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to criticize you, they don't know what they're talking about because they don't really know you. Well, I mean, just be yourself and be confident, and not everything works out the way that you want, and that's okay. That's part of the learning. It's part of the journey, right?
Yeah. Anytime something goes wrong, there's something to be learned from it.
Yeah.
And there's a lesson to take away. I don't think I actually looked to the future or looked forward, like you were saying, Mark, until I actually got into this community and this business. I was always just looking at the next week and the next paycheck or the next bills coming in, or, I could never see past a week in front of us or 2 weeks, depending on when I got paid, because we just didn't have the ability to look forward to life.
Yeah.
I think people's worst is when you look back and you regret all your decisions. I mean, you can't change them.
No.
They're learning, move on. Embrace that. You at that time you had the information that you had and you made a decision. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't.
But you got to go.
You can't
on.
change it. You got to move on.
Yeah. Learn from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest takeaway, is to hold your head up high and just own it. Like, own your day, because you're in charge of your day after all,
Yeah. And I think, for the most part, all of us have a choice every morning when our feet hit the floor. Is it going to be a good day or is it going to be a bad day? So
great day.
Exactly. So, push forward like it's going to be the best day you've ever had. And, we do have to count every day as being grateful that we have it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people don't get to touch the floor every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We've lost a lot of people in our life early, and that was probably one of my biggest motivations. When I was working as a manager in retail, or assistant manager, sorry, my manager lost her husband, who is the same age as mine is now. And so every single day I am like, are you breathing?
Holding a mirror up to
but it's just so, and especially given the circumstances in the world, as much as we don't want to bring them up, it's still like there's a lot of loss, and so I'm very grateful that our family and stuff is still here, but life's too short. It's too short to live with regrets. It's too short to move back and not move forward.
And too short for what ifs. Right? What if I did this? What if I tried it?
You'll be 20 years later thinking the same thing if you don't try it. Right?
Yeah. I love it. Wow. Well, we hit like the half-hour mark, and we usually try to go about a half hour, and I think we're leaving on a fantastic note. Mark and Glenda, you guys are amazing, and you guys follow, they came on to one of our team Zooms one time, and they follow almost all of our pages. They're just everywhere. And thank you so much for your support in the community and for coming on today.
Well, thanks.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for all your support too. And I mean, that's what makes this community great.
Yeah, and it's so great to have a nice little conversation in the morning on a Friday. Perfect.
Yeah, Jennifer and I will sit here until 11:30 noon. Well, you guys all have a fantastic Friday, and thank you for coming on. And check out Mark and Glenda on their page. You can see all the information scrolling on the bottom. And next week we have Joseph Ledger, I believe, and we will see you guys then.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it so much. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks.